Okay, good evening, boys and girls. I just thought I'd prepare something to aid your revision. Um, this is something that we have covered in class, but I thought I'd give you a bit more of an insight into this. So, going into the exam and basing everything around the first case study, got to do with Gloria, these are some of the questions that you need to consider just to sort of brush up on your knowledge, about some of these things. And most importantly, I feel volatility comes into it and diversifying comes into it again. So please make sure you familiarize yourself with the case study, and I mean familiarize yourself with it. Now, we covered this in class, but I'm just going to go through it again. So, again, ensure you know what emerging economies are. We looked at BRIC and MINT, and these come under page 165 of the textbook. Again, this is something that you need to familiarize yourself with. I would highly, highly, highly recommend all of you to read topic 6 purely because this particular case study revolves around major world events and particularly those of the oil market. So you'll see later on in this presentation why I'm asking you to read upon this. OPEC, again, is another organization that comes up in the case study itself. Again, you need to understand what they're responsible for. So their objective is to basically make sure that petroleum prices are unified amongst member countries of the OPEC organization, and make sure that there is fair and stable prices for all of those producers who are providing petroleum. Shale oil, again, is something that we covered. We mentioned that it's an industrial process for unconventional oil production. And then these are the other 2 points that come through. Oil production is rising in the UK, mentioned on page 5 of your case study. Now, again, just to quickly, familiarize yourself with Gloria. She's 25 years old. She's a graduate who works as an engineer, has been in the job for over 3 years with a salary over £40,000. So, she's in good hands. She seems quite, well-rounded. She seems financially literate. She seems somebody who is, on the board with things. And as we're told in the case study, she was in a fast-track scheme and has a good chance of rapid promotion in the next few years. So, in terms of where she's headed for a, successful career in the kind of industry that she's working in, and that is of engineering. We know that she's good at managing her money, and she's got quite a lot of money saved up. And again, we're told that she's interested in the emerging economies, BRIC and MINT. And again, I ask you to familiarize yourself with this. Now, the research. We're told in the actual research that oil is a volatile commodity, and we're also told that the record price in the last 5 years was $108 per barrel. At one point, fell to a low of $29 per barrel. Okay, so you can see the actual difference there is quite significant. And then we're also further told in the case study that the average price of the barrel is $58 a barrel. So this is pretty good because it tells us what people should be paying for oil. Now, again, we're told what is the cause of this, and these are the 5 reasons that are mentioned in the case study. Firstly, the USA has doubled its production. So, over the last 5 years, the USA is producing its own oil, and they haven't had to import this. Now, as a result of that, the price of oil has gone down because they would have had to import it from most likely the Middle East, and the Middle East obviously dictate their prices to the US. Otherwise, they had their own basis of prices too. Again, we mentioned that the growth in shale oil has been going up. This is another alternative for people who need oil, or countries who need oil, that has provided a bit of a leeway. Canadian and Iraqi oil exports are rising, so you've got new players coming into the market who obviously want to attract countries to buy from them, so they are going to reduce their prices. And as we know, Russia is pumping oil despite economic problems, and they're doing this at a record level. And finally, another reason why we have seen volatility in the price of oil is that people are becoming more energy efficient. It actually says world vehicles. So we've got smart cars, we've got electronic-based cars, we've got cars like the Toyota Priuses, for example. Now, in terms of questions, when you open your paper on Monday morning, don't forget at the top of the questions you are given a little abstract. Okay, make sure you read through that because that provides you critical points that will inform how to answer the questions. And just to remember, case study questions, you've got two 10 markers and a 15 marker. Now, the financial plan question, I've made this question up and I've given you some points that you can choose through as well. So the question is, Analyze why is it important for Gloria to monitor progress of her financial plan regularly once she has invested her money into a commodity fund, or commodity funds rather. So I've given you 10 points, yeah, that you can use very easily. But please do not forget, you must relay these points to Gloria. So financial situation can change, often unexpectedly. This means that Gloria must take care of how much money she's putting aside, just in case that the fund doesn't perform well, and she is, she might lose money from that perspective. And the rest of them sort of you can read through. I'll put the PowerPoint on Show My Homework as well for you guys, and I'll also email it to you guys as well. Okay, so please familiarize yourself with these points. I would say if you are going to talk about the reason why she shouldn't monitor her progress of a financial plan, you can say something along the lines of it may be time consuming. She doesn't need to because she's quite, financially literate. Just use one of those points. Don't use 2 points as some of you have done so already. The main reason here is that why is it important for her to do this? And I think you should mention at least 4 points. Discuss which commodity fund Gloria should invest her money in. Now, the word discuss means it's a written debate looking at reasoning backed up by carefully selected evidences to make a case for and against an argument. Okay, so you need to provide advantages and disadvantages. So I would say briefly speak about each commodity fund and mention the last three. The last three that I mentioned in the case study, the ones where we are provided more detail, mention them, because what they do is they give us more detail and more of an insight into the funds. We've done a question like this already. You've already answered this. This should be in your exercise book. And we've also done the A3 sheet whereby we look at each fund in detail as well. I expect all of you to be able to answer this question confidently. The final question, the 15 marks plus SPAG. Again, I'm going to emphasize read topic 6, and you must know about these things. Globalization. Do you know what the advantages and disadvantages are? Do you know what outsourcing and offshoring is? We did a 5 marker on this too. You need to know about the exchange rate, and you need to know about the international trade organizations such as the WTO, the EU, the ASEAN, and CARICOM. If you don't know about these, then boys and girls, I can't emphasize this any more to you, but to read topic 6. Final point, the 15 marker questions. I have come up with 3 possible questions. I'm not saying these are the questions. This is what I'm predicting. So based on my analysis of the past exam papers, I would say these are the questions. Evaluate why Gloria should or shouldn't diversify her investment portfolio. Again, you're talking about why she should do it, why she shouldn't do it. There's 2 parts to this question. So you would write 3 paragraphs here. 1 for why she should, 1 for why she shouldn't, and then give a conclusion providing what is your opinion, why do you think she should do it. Remember, the key thing here is that you provide advantages, disadvantages, and you provide your judgment. Why are you saying this? Why do you agree that she should do it, and why are you disagreeing or disagreeing why she shouldn't? Second, evaluate how a rise in one commodity portfolio can impact Gloria's decision to diversify her investment. So what this question is asking is, if one commodity portfolio goes up, how does this impact the other two? And how does this impact her decision to diversify? So should she carry on paying towards those 2 investment funds that are not doing so well in, or should she withdraw her money and put them back into that fund? You could also talk about how she should keep her money in there because it's a volatile, a commodity, investment commodity. It can go up, it can go down. So she is better placed in keeping her money there. Again, you have to provide both points of it, okay? And again, 3 paragraphs, why she should, why she shouldn't, and provide a conclusion as well. Finally, evaluate why Gloria should consider emerging economies for her investment rather than those which are more established. So we're looking at why she should consider the BRIC economies, because in the case study, you're outwardly told India and China, okay? And why should she consider them other than the ones that are more established, such as the UK, sorry, not the UK, the USA. All right. Again, you need to provide reasons for it because that's just something that she's interested in. She wants to do. She's more, the research suggests that those countries are emerging, they're growing, and this is something that's going to be beneficial for them. That ends the video. I hope you find this useful. What I would also say is, if you want to do these questions or plan them out and send them to me by email, you're welcome to do that as well. Have a good evening, boys and girls. All the best.